Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City media podcast. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis. Now, let's get to the show.
What up? What it do? Episode 112 is Untapped.
The sultry tones of Trey Lasley.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. That wasn't half bad.
Fellas, I am locked in to Monday Night Basketball. Just a heck of a basketball game being played between AAC conference rivals. North Texas Mean Green is at the UAB Blazers in a battle, get this, for solo second place in the American.
Whoa. Who's in first?
What do you mean by that?
We'll get to that later.
Wait, solo second? That means someone is ahead of them.
It's no longer a multi-horse race. Somebody's pulled ahead.
Would you say? Would you say separation?
A little bit of separation.
A little bit of separation
right before our eyes. TJ, tell our beautiful listeners what we're sipping on this eve from Hampline. It is
blurry.
It is blurry.
Why does it do that? This is hey, there we go. This is Kolsh of personality, a German style Kolsh. Not really understanding the play on words there. Maybe it'll click mid episode on what they're trying to do. But another Hampline beer.
Did you check this? Check this for strawberry.
With the Kolsh, I didn't feel like that was necessary. I probably should just get into the habit of always checking.
It does say subtle fruity notes.
No, not like that.
I don't think that'll be in there. I'm gonna look up something real quick, but I'm getting off the riff. I'm getting notes of what's in a Kolsh.
Notes of what?
I don't want to say because I don't want to.
Is that German? Is it German? Kolsh.
But what's the straw yellow hue? Blah blah blah. I don't know. That might have been left over from the queso I was eating before. I was getting like subtle hints of jalapeno.
Oh.
I don't know why. It was reminding me of that one jalapeno beer that you brought us.
Yeah, that was a real treat.
But I think I might have had a little bit of jalapeno stuck in my teeth. Maybe they got washed out.
What's on the docket? I think we kind of already ruined it a little bit from the intro on what we're talking about.
Separation week is extended.
Yes, it is.
Because we had another 2-0 week, ladies and gents. On Thursday, we finally broke the curse that is Bourbon Street. We went down to Tulane, Fogelman Fieldhouse, or wherever the hell they call it. And not only did we win, we covered. And you know what they say? Good teams win, great teams cover.
Did y'all hear Penny's comments before the game about going to Bourbon?
Oh yeah, they were hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah, last week on his coach's show, he was just basically like, they got bourbon, they know what they're doing, they reel you in with all that, then they do some voodoo magic and bring you into the field house, and it's just tough to win there. And then said something about it being an 8 p.m. tip. And he was like, yeah, they're trying to get us more time on Bourbon Street before they bring us in there.
It's so funny.
What in the world?
Which, I mean, I know he was joking at first, but then the more, like, he would not stop talking about it. So I was like, I think he really might be going to Bourbon Street. Like,
my guy.
He keeps going back to it. I don't know if they have divers down there, but then he walking around with a big old bucket or a hand grenade. Isn't that what they have? Isn't that what the big thing on Bourbon is?
No. Never been.
Man, speaking of down there, good thing we went this week and it went last week, not this week. We had the Super Bowl down there in Madhouse. Talk about craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tulane is terrible, y'all. They're terrible
What, at basketball?
at basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it was a closer game for I don't know, what would you say, 75% of it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Until like the under 8 of the second half, probably is when we really started pulling away. Ended up winning by 12, 68, 56. It felt like it was going to be a higher scoring game than that when it initially started. But nonetheless, Ticks pulled it out. Big game from Dane. 19-10. Love to see it. Was dominating.
Yeah.
Colby, DC game, 50% from 4-8, had 14. PJ Haggerty had an off night. He just looked like from the get-go he wasn't all there, but Penny later said that he wasn't 100%. He'd been sick.
Which is not surprising given you said there were 30 people in line at the pharmacy tonight.
I just went. Lord Williams got an ear infection, so I went to go pick up some amoxicillin at about 8:15, the only 24-hour Walgreens near us. 12 cars in the drive-through line. I finally got up to the window, looked through just to see how many were in the inside. There was a line of no less than 30 lined up at the pharmacy counter. The pharmacy tech told me, we do have that. It's not quite ready. Check back in 2 hours. So I'll be heading up to Walgreens right at the conclusion of tonight's episode to get my boy some pink bubblegum flavored amoxicillin to get that ear feeling better, because he is pissed off about that.
Ear infections do piss people. Listen, they're the worst.
Well, yeah.
He's you try to get him to lay down to go to sleep, and it is not happening. So, and that's our second one in a month. So I'm hoping this isn't the start of what may be tubes or something, because we hadn't had to do that. Catherine only ever had one ear infection leading up to being almost 4.
Wow.
Somehow she pulled that off. So
that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had ear infections pretty common.
2 in a month for young William. So, it's not surprising that PJ Haggerty was sick. It is definitely going around. I think the flu is like crazy right now. So, no surprise there. But good thing we have another man named PJ on the ball club, because he stepped right up.
Yep.
Stepped right up. 14 points, 3 boards. Played 26 minutes, was 5 of 11 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3. Huge minutes out of PJ Carter.
Yep.
Huge minutes. Defensively, you played one of your better games all season. You held Tulane to 36% from the field, 16.7 from 3. You turned them over 12 times. They did out-rebound you by 1. You only had 11 turnovers.
Which honestly, guys, like that, if they can hold turnovers down to like 11, that they're going to be very tough.
I think PJ and I said it earlier in the year. It's like 12 or fewer, and I think you're tough to beat. It's when you start getting to 15 plus that it's like, I mean, we're wasting opportunities. But you did what you had to do down there in New Orleans. You were favored by 5.5. You won by 12. The metrics liked it. You bumped up 2 spots, and then you turned around. You went down to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't the top 10 Houston team you got accustomed to playing down there in those fun battles. It was the Rice Owls in a much smaller arena, a much less talented ball club. And it felt eerily similar to the Tulane game in a way. You did start out strong, just like you did in Tulane. You got up pretty quickly. I think we were up like 8-0 against Tulane. You were up 9-2 or something against Rice.
Yeah.
You got up 10 or so in the first half, and then let them back in it. And it was kind of it kept feeling like we were going to pull away, and then Rice would make a run.
Just never did. Yeah.
And then when you made your final run with a few minutes left and you'd pushed it to like a 9-point game, 10-point game, all of a sudden they go on a 9-0 run, and it's like you're up 1 with 11 seconds left, and we're sitting there like, holy shit, we legitimately could lose this game. If you don't make free throws right here, and they knock a shot down like you could walk out of Houston with the loss to Rice.
Oh
And it
man.
never really felt like that the whole game. So then you just basically schmetrically undid exactly what you needed to do in Tulane, because you dropped back in Ken Palm. You dropped in the net again, which whatever, just keep winning. Things will take care of itself. But not the prettiest game yesterday in Houston.
I
to be
thought
honest.
I thought offensively the Tigers played pretty well.
Offensively, you did, but you gave up what, 83
83
to Rice.
To a
Yes.
bad team.
And there were turnovers too. And I will say this: it was also maybe the worst officiated game that we have had all season long.
100%. The foul.
There were-
If you look at the box
the
score,
foul.
it doesn't. If you look at the box score, it doesn't look like it. But that's just because the refs kind of even the foul calls out at the end of the game. Like it was bad.
Yeah, how many times did you stop and say, like, how is that not a foul? Like, I think even in the Discord, everyone at one point I think there was a series where like boom, 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 boom chats came in where you could tell people who were streaming and who wasn't, where it was coming in like, how is that not a foul? How is that not a foul?
Yeah.
Everyone just chiming in at the same thing.
Yeah,
there were definitely some easily missed calls.
We sat down at the dinner table last night at like 5:45 or so. Catherine had just been watching Aristocats. She sits down. I wasn't there yet. I was actually filling up my glass of water, about to walk over. She sits down. She's not talking to anybody in particular, just sits down and says, "How is that not a foul?" So if I was saying it as well multiple times throughout the game. But it wasn't just foul calls either. We didn't even mention the Tulane foul situation. Only the second ball game all year long that not a single free throw was shot in the first half.
Wait, that's
Which,
happened
hey,
this year? That's happened this year?
It's happened one other game. It was two nobodies playing, but yeah, they said it was only the second time all season.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Half-
Tigers. I was like, wait.
Oh, no. In all of college basketball, every college basketball game that's been played twice. There were like 6 total fouls called between both teams, and somehow Nick Jourdain had 3 of them.
But hey,
But no free throw shooting. We're top 15 in the country in getting to the free throw line and free throw attempted a game, and didn't shoot a single free throw for an entire half. There's no way that makes sense.
Tell me the game wasn't more fun to watch, though.
It was
way more.
Well,
and
yeah, of course.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not. If you're going to let both teams play, let both teams play, whatever.
Yeah.
But yesterday was egregious. We were getting hacked, and then they would turn around in the same exact play on the other end, and it's a foul. But it wasn't just the fouls either. Like, down the stretch, they couldn't get the ball in bounds. Dude calls a timeout. I mean, whatever, we get the ball because they called 5 seconds, but it was clearly a technical foul. Like,
yeah,
you call a timeout, you don't have a timeout, it's a tech. It should have been 2 shots on the ball. On the last play of the game, when they got that steal on the inbounds, he walked a mile before he tried to do any. I mean, thankfully, PJ Carter, who's on a freaking heater right now, got the steal out of it. But like, there were out of bounds calls that weren't even remotely close to being Rice's ball that they were awarded, and you couldn't review it because it wasn't inside 2 minutes or whatever it is. I don't know. There were just real questionable things happening yesterday. Fouls, out of bounds calls.
Yeah.
Just terrible stuff.
But thankfully, PJ went on. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. All of that to say, I mean, at the end of the day, like, the turnovers, it was too many. We just said it, 15 or more, and you're starting to get up there. You had 16 yesterday. I think they had like 26 points off of turnovers or something, which is far too many. You turn the ball over 10 or 11 times yesterday, and you win by 10 plus.
Yeah.
And probably cover again.
How many actual minutes do you think passed in the final, like, 45 seconds of that basketball game?
I don't know. That's every.
If you said anything less than 20 minutes, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
The last 45 seconds of that game took easily 20 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, that's like every single game at the end, especially with the reviews and stuff that they do.
That.
Like,
that was brutal.
I'm starting to push out there, like, just, I don't want a play ever reviewed ever again. Get rid of it totally. It happens far too often. And about anything, if it's under a minute and the ball goes out of bounds, the play is being reviewed. It doesn't matter if it's obvious or not. They're going to review it.
Yeah.
For time, for whose ball it is, for shot clock. I mean, it's becoming ridiculous. Yeah. Under a minute in a college basketball game legitimately takes 15 plus minutes to be played in a close game, for sure.
I know it's a small window and sample size, but has PJ Carter's last 3 games been a surprise to anybody?
I thank you for mentioning that, because we're about to talk about the emergence of PJ and not Haggerty, because he is the emergence of PJ Haggerty has been known about. He is on watch list. He's talked about in All-American talks. We're talking about the emergence of PJ Carter. And he's a honorable mention All AAC player this week. Averaged 25 minutes in the 2 games down in New Orleans and Houston. Averaged 16.5 points. You guys know what he shot from 3 this week?
It was absurd, right? Like, so he
You know how
shot
many threes? You know how many threes he made in those 2
45%.
games? He made 9 threes in his last 2 games. 9 of 16. 56%.
That's so crazy.
Dude's putting in work.
Was he historically? He wasn't a shooter coming in, was he?
Yeah. He was roughly 40%, I think.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Somewhere
I'm thinking of
along
a
those
Koji.
lines.
Yeah, 40.
Baraka.
40% in 2020 or 23, 24, 45%, or no, 42% in 24, 25.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
man.
he's firing it. And he's feeling even the ones that he has missed have gone 3/4 of the way down and come out. He's not like every single one of them has a chance to go in. It's not like he's hitting the front of the rim. It's not no chance whatsoever or anything long. Like they are literally rattling in and out. Like he is dialed the F in.
What was he at Tulane? The Tulane game, he was.
I think he was 4 of
9 or something.
4 of 9.
And two of them were 75% of the way in the basket.
Yeah, I don't know how they ended up coming out. Like they probably need to do one of those Mythbusters things about like how far down does a basketball actually have to go before it can physically come back out. Because he was rattling stuff all over. And then we got, I guess PJ Haggerty went to a different Walgreens, got the medicine he needed because he was all the way back yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
All the way back. 26 points, 11-18 from the field. Knocked down the big clutch free throws after he just missed one not too long before that on the front of it, a 1-on-1. But he looked like your All-American National Player of the Year candidate. Had 8 boards, 5 assists. Him and Tyrese combined for 10 assists. 10 of your 20. They had 7. Wow. Had 50% of your assists.
Who do you think is going to? Let's get back to the PJ Carter talk for a second. Who do you think is going to? Number one, this question was presented to me today, and I wanted to ask you guys this as well. How sustainable is PJ Carter's success so far? Like, do you think it's something that's going to continue, or what do y'all? Is it just?
I mean, I think he has shown that he's capable. I think he's obviously getting much more comfortable. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to go out and make 4 or 5 threes every night.
Right.
I don't know that that's sustainable, but for him to come out and continue to shoot 40+% from 3 and make 1 or 2 a night and give a good 15 minutes, I think that's sustainable. I think he's solidifying himself as being a key piece in the rotation down the stretch, which is exactly what you needed, right? We'd been talking about like you need a Baraka, or even, I mean, I know Dante hadn't been here that long, but like somebody, you got to have somebody else in spurts that can come in and contribute. And now there's talk.
He's kind of doing more than that, right? Like
he's
not
almost
just contributing. He's
becoming a serious, almost Colby Rogers-esque, like kind of. I mean, I guess Colby he's been fine. He hit 4 at Tulane, and then I know he started 0 of 7 and then ended up down the stretch shooting it well. But Some people have been out there clamoring for PJ Carter to be a starter.
It's not PJ. It's not Colby they're trying to replace.
I know, it's Nick.
So that's my question to y'all is, that's why this is such a unique situation, right? This late into the season, his emergence is causing teams to go, or causing Penny to go, or even fans to go. Do you start to change the almost the entire dynamic of the starting lineup, right?
I don't think I would.
Yeah, I think you can. Right.
I mean, I think he's
Good.
I just wouldn't. I think he's comfortable in the spot that he's in. He's getting the minutes anyway. Like, I don't know. And that's also, maybe that's my personality, how I am. I would be worried that you throw him in the starting lineup and it changes something for him, whether that's him putting more stress on himself. Like he puts higher expectations. Well, now I'm a starter. Like I need to do such and such. Right now, I feel like he's going out there and he's comfortable and he's just playing with confidence and knows what he's out there. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I wouldn't mess with it. If you have to, and Nick is playing that bad, like just make the sub early. We've seen that Penny's not afraid to make a sub 30 seconds into a game. Like, I don't know. I like PJ coming off the bench. He's fit the role well. He's done a tremendous job the last week or so. And I do think it is sustainable, but maybe not necessarily at the level it's been. I'm not expecting him to come out and average 17 a night and hit 4 or 5 threes. But I think he knows what he's out there to do, and he's doing it very well.
Yeah, I mean, you're 17-4. It's not like you're 11-11 or something like that, and you're scrounging up wins. Nothing like that, right? You don't need to make some type of dire change. I mean, we've already done the 4 king things, but if you want to bring back the 4 kings thing for a little bit or play small, I'm not.
I mean, I don't hate the
you.
4 guard. We've run it some, and it's worked.
I mean, do y'all not feel
Right.
like it's kind of a chess piece move, right? Like it's something that you utilize. They talk about it in the NBA all the time, the death
Yeah.
lineup, right? Like they talk,
Yeah.
like Golden State had their death lineup where Draymond would play the 5, Andre Iguodala would play the 4. Who was the other? I know Steph was the point. Clay
Steph playing Andrew Wiggins, wasn't it?
Was it Wiggins or no? It was Harrison Barnes, I think.
Or
I think it was
Harrison Barnes.
And so that 5-man death lineup, you just run folks out of the gym. And you had Draymond Green, who has shown, even though he's slight in stature, can hang defensively with most bigs in the NBA. It feels less like an indictment on Nick Jourdain and more of a chess piece move for Penny. Another added lineup, like kind of to change the dynamics of the game or to just put a team away. Right? Like, because what do you do with like, how do you guard the Tigers if you've got 4 guys who are shooting let's not forget the Tigers are #1 team in the country in 3-point shooting this year.
Yeah, they are back to the #1 team. The only team shooting 40+% from 3. And we talked about it early on. We're like, I don't know that this is sustainable. We are literally now 70% of the way through the college basketball season. And they are the #1 3-point shooting team in America.
What are we talking about, right? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm guilty.
If you'd have told me that after the first 2 exhibition games, I would have told you you're an idiot. That there is legitimately no way.
Well, yeah, we have years and years of history of Memphis Tiger teams just being awful 3-point shooting teams for the most part, right? And I understand the roster's changing at this point, literally every year. So as the roster change, you get new players in, more skill sets in, things like that. It's just you never think that they're going to go from an okay shooting team to this,
to the most elite shooting 3-point shooting team in the country.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's also, I mean, I guess that's part of it is they take intelligent shots and they're not just a team that's out here like Alabama or somebody that's putting up 30+ a night.
Right.
But I think D Grum's put it out there. We're not even remotely close to like top 150 in 3-point attempts. I don't think. I think it was like 290 or something.
11 for 21. Yeah, the efficiency. It's the timeliness of it. So put yourself in the perspective of being a coach defending the Tigers with that. I'm going to call it. I'm going to say it's the death lineup for the Tigers, right? So you got PJ Haggerty at the 1, Tyrese Hunter at the 2, Colby at the 3, PJ Carter at the 4, or you could interchange Colby Rogers and PJ Carter, however you want to do it. Because Colby Rogers is a little bit bigger than PJ Carter. And then you got Dane at the 5. The linchpin and all that is that Dane is a willing passer out of the post, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got a guy, a big, who has a plethora, a full bag of moves in the post, who's willing to pass out of double teams, and his targets are PJ Carter, Colby Rogers, Tyrese Hunter, PJ Haggerty. And they're getting wide open threes. How do you guard that? How do you guard that lineup?
Well, I think the downfall of that is you better make every shot because there's not going to be much rebounding. I think on the court after that, but
Yeah,
you do get good rebounds from, I guess, Haggerty's pretty good for a guard at rebounding, and Dane's a good rebounder, but outside of that, it's
Tyrese is a willing rebounder.
Sure.
I mean, they are
crush.
Yeah, they are at times, but there are also time. I mean, there's. I guess
it's been a handful of games where we've been out rebounded.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we have an incredible rebounding team by any means.
But to Kenny's point, I don't know how you defend it, honestly. Like, we saw it in Tulane, and PJ Carter had knocked down some threes, and the focus shifted to him. And all of a sudden, because Colby had started a little bit cold, he was literally wide open on the wing and just drank like twice in a row. Just totally forgotten about. Now, I know one of them was into the shot clock, and he was ball in his hand, dude in his face, and just pulling and making stuff. But there were also at least 2 where they just totally left him wide open.
And Dane is a very tough guy to guard one-on-one. If you don't send a guard down to dig the ball out, because that's Dane's big issue, right? Is when he puts the ball on the ground, if you send a guard to dig, he gives it up like frequently, right? So that's the way you guard that. But he's also shown himself willing to pass out of that.
Right.
And
Which isn't like him being willing to give up is not a terrible thing necessarily. Like, too often we've seen the ball go in the post and it literally never comes back out.
Never comes out.
Some of those dudes had not 20% of the footwork skill that Dane had. His footwork and that spin move are literally deadly. It is unbelievable how good he is in the post.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot, off the top of the dome, I don't know a Tiger to compare him to with his ability, his footwork.
I think you could
get around a defender in the paint.
I think you could almost go to the nation and say, I don't know if there's a big that has his footwork. Maybe Hunter Dickinson at Kansas, like that. He's got good footwork, and he's 7'2", but but we're talking footwork wise. I'm not talking about overall skill. I think Dane has got a lot. Like he's very limited from like 5 feet out, right? Like doesn't do anything outside of in the paint.
We're just saying on the block with the ball back to the basket and a defender on you, Dane has a very special ability to get around the defender and get an open shot. It's not like, I mean, I know he's thrown up some hook shots over a defender, but far more often he is making a move that gets him an open, undefendable, like whether it's a reverse on the other side of the basket or what have you, like he's getting a clean look at the basket.
Up and under kind of move. Yeah. It's filthy.
It is absurd.
So I'm interested about this. That's why I think this whole sustainability wise, like I'm not even necessarily concerned about how much he shoots or how many he makes. PJ Carter is who I'm talking about. I love that Penny has something new to play with. Like this is a new toy, this lineup absolutely is something that I don't think any of us saw early in the season.
Yeah, I don't know that the staff saw it really. Like, I think the thought process that they had is probably what we had similar, is like PJ Carter is a guy that can come in and relieve Colby for a couple of minutes a night, right? Like
they showed you what they thought he was. They showed you what they thought he was at the beginning of the year. A spell guy, a rest guy. Like come in for a couple minutes, get a run and go. Did you hear what Penny said? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, in those couple of minutes, if you can knock down a 3, awesome. But otherwise, like we're giving dudes a break, and
Yeah,
you're coming right back out.
Did you hear what Penny said? What kind of was the turning point for PJ?
No,
It was about a month ago.
well, maybe.
He had a conversation with him at the facility. And he said that he was like, one of the things we noticed as a staff is that PJ was just taking it he was too much of a jokester. And then he kind of clarified that and said he would come in, we had practice at 8 in the morning, he'd be there at 8. As soon as practice was gone, he would leave. He walked around the facility with just this big old smile on his face, like, I'm just happy to be here. And he said, I had a conversation with him in the office, and I told him, I said, you have lost your willingness to fight for your position. You're just happy to be here. And he said PJ told him, I've never had a coach tell me that before. You'll never have to have that conversation with me again. And since then, it's been this.
Well, it worked because he's got that dog in him now. I mean, even yet, like yesterday in Houston, he was making defensive plays, a deflection here or there. I mean, shit, you have Nick Jourdain out there, and he's making defensive plays while we have the ball offensively.
Nick has been tough. Nick has been rough.
No,
Meanwhile,
I love
he was
PJ
telling us he was
Carter.
gonna lead all conference.
I texted Kenny earlier this week. I think it was after the Tulane game. It was before yesterday even. We're talking about one game, essentially. And I want PJ back.
Yep.
If he can come back. I don't know how the whole JUCO thing works out because, shit, we thought Anthony Lanfear would be back, and somehow now he's not. But
Can I just say screw the NCAA for this?
I don't understand it.
They are.
Yeah.
It doesn't
PJ,
make any sense.
What is going on, dude?
No one seems to know.
You're the NCAA whisperer. What is going on?
No one seems to know. It's still case by case, and I'm not sure where the uncertainty is. And you played 2 years here, 2 years there. That's 4 years. But for some reason, he doesn't have that last year. Nothing makes sense.
It does not make sense. But if PJ Carter happens to be one that gets one, I want him back next year.
I have a whole conspiracy theory about this Anthony Lanfear thing. I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm not going to say it.
Well, you had to say it now. Why did you mention it?
Yeah, why would you even say that? We're going to take a break, and Kenny's going to come back and tell us about his conspiracy theory. And then we're going to talk about how it's a one-horse race in the AAC.
I don't know if I'm going to tell you my conspiracy theory.
Well, come back after the break and see if Kenny will do it or not. We'll be right back.
Something that I think that you should never do is tell fans they don't have the right to be stupid. If someone decided, hey, I'm going to create an outlet for fans to come in and talk about whatever they talk about, and we're going to be as dumb as possible. Those people have created that circus, that fortress, that hut, that kingdom of their own. Like, they made that for that purpose, to go in there and talk about whatever they want to talk about. Right? There's nothing making you, them, me, anybody go in that inside of that group. That's what they decide to go in there and talk about. You don't have to participate in that stuff. Am I telling people you should be able to say what you want to say? I mean, that's your own levels of decency. There are some terrible people out here that they're not doing this because it's a sports opinion. They're just doing it to just be jackasses on the internet. And they get the responses they want from that.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
The thing I take away from that game that probably irked me the most was it seemed like it didn't bother us that they were doing any and everything they wanted to do. And like the competitor that I am, like there is something within me that I'm not gonna let y'all just keep running up and down having a good time.
Well, the word you used in the broadcast is a word it's embarrassing. It's one of the worst words you can hear, man. I mean, that's the last thing you want to happen.
Still just one loss.
Right.
Well, it was the way they lost. I wanted to see more fight. I wanted to see more guys upset that it was happening. You're not really recognizing why that happened.
Right.
Like, there was a reason why it happened. It wasn't just by happenstance and just come. There's been a pattern now.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Dirty. All right, Kenny, you telling us or not?
I'll say it. I'll be diplomatic about it. I genuinely hope that the University of Memphis's compliance department is on their P's and Q's. Like, that's what I hope. And I don't necessarily think that in previous administrations, I want to throw that out there now. In previous administrations, I could honestly see there needing to be some kind of filed paperwork to get Anthony Lansfear his next year of eligibility, and it just didn't get done.
I mean,
that's what I hope.
I'd be lying to you if a thought like that didn't cross my mind when he posted that I've been informed I do not have
By
an
who?
additional year. Yeah, I wanted to be like, can we get some clarification on who told you that?
We know who. We know who.
That's happened before, and it hasn't been so clear cut dry.
His situation is different than the most JUCO people because he didn't go high school, JUCO, then straight to Memphis, right? He went high school to San Diego State, then he went JUCO, then Memphis. So he did 4 years in D1, where that gets confusion. Tis confusion.
Confucius says.
Where that gets confusing is in 2019, he was in D1 at San Diego State. 2020, so the COVID year, he was in JUCO. So I don't think that he gets his fifth year. I don't think he gets that extra year because he wasn't in Division I when that happened. He was in junior college. So it's my only guess, right? I don't know how much time he spent at San Diego State. So I think that plays a role in it, the time he spent at San Diego State before he went JUCO. So.
If that's the case, then that makes sense, and I hope that that's the case. That's why I say it's a conspiracy theory, right? Or it's a hope of mine that they're. But I will say this: the previous administration's compliance athletic director no longer has a job, and I still don't know your name, and I know you listen to this show, so hi. I still don't know your name, but she doesn't have a job anymore. And so
this is getting weird.
This feels like a personal attack now. Maybe we shouldn't have dug into this.
TJ and I just get off here. We'll make Kenny the solo.
No, I'm good. I'm done. I'm sorry. That was too much. But this is a new administration, a new era of the University of Memphis athletic administration. So I'm hoping that that's not the case.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I had to remind myself that as well. But I don't know. That's all to say. If PJ Carter has a year, we want him back. If he doesn't, and it's some sort of Anthony Lansfear, we at least get 2 more months with him. Hopefully more. And he keeps shining. With that being said, gentlemen, the big battle for second place just ended. Have y'all seen who won?
I didn't see it. I had it on. Oh,
is it UAB?
UAB won.
UAB did win. I was going to ask if you wanted a team to win. That is 2 in a row
for North Texas. 2 straight conference losses.
Stretch for them, playing 3 games in 5-6 days.
We talked about this last week. We talked about this North Texas schedule last week.
I did not think that the UTSA would be a problem.
No.
I did think playing Thursday, Saturday, Monday would maybe be a little bit of a problem, but it is officially a 1-horse race. The Tigers are sitting at 8-1, solo first place in the American, just ahead of 8-2 UAB, followed by 7-3 North Texas, and then multiple 3-loss teams. You got Tulane, Temple right there with them. It's your conference to win. You're in the best spot you've been in Penny's tenure in the American.
Yep.
Sitting at 8-1. Arguably, you've played your toughest games already. I guess you could throw at UAB in there as maybe the toughest if you want to say that FAU's been poo-poo and
Yeah.
you got North Texas at home and you've played UAB at home, but
do y'all consider will Temple at home be a tough game, you think?
I think that's one they're going to come out with the motivation to beat Temple's ass, and so you probably win comfortably. It may get a little bit closer than you want it to late or something, but I don't. That's one where I feel like there's enough there. They kind of got embarrassed, especially rebounding and just losing that game in general, that they're going to come out motivated on Saturday or Sunday. And I'm not going to sit here and say we'll win by 24 like we did against UAB, but I think I might bet it to be 15 plus.
Oh,
I don't know what the line will be. Ken Palm's probably got it like a 12-point game. Let's see. You got 2 this week. You got Tulsa on Wednesday. I don't want to overlook them. I mean, they are 275 in Ken Palm. You were projected 98% chance to win, and Ken Palm has it as a 21-point ball game. So you'll be favored by 20 plus against Tulsa on Wednesday night. They have closed off the terrace level for that game. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh, good.
Do that. I think that's a good idea. They've lowered ticket prices as well. You can get in club level esque at like $30, $35, which is
Dude,
I think that's what it should be anyway.
This new administration is listening.
They are.
Take that. Like, that is awesome, man. Great job.
Absolutely. And then, Super Bowl Sunday, the big one, you get the revenge factor against Temple. Ken Palm actually has that as a 14-point game. So my 15 plus wouldn't have been a bad bet because you're right there on the line, kind of. But no, I don't think we'll struggle with Temple this time around, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think the motivation factor is going to be there. The revenge game factor is going to be there. I think it's to be honest, I think it's another 2-0 week. I just do. Metrically, like we said, you took a hit yesterday. You jumped up, and the coaches poll, you're up to 15. You jumped up to 17 in the AP. So we've dodged the cursed number 16 ranking this week, which is good. You get 2 blowout wins this week, and you might jump up a little bit further.
Did you see where John Rothstein has the Tigers?
I want to say, was it 13?
13.
Yeah.
Wow.
You see where Andy Katz had us in his Power 40 rankings or Power 37?
Top
11.
15, probably. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Gary has us at 13. Some notable guys out there. Jeff Goodman's got us at 13, I think. We're climbing. You just keep winning. You keep climbing.
Just keep winning, man.
I mean, if you take away that Arkansas State loss, that's not even that bad of a loss. So if you take away the Temple loss, it's really not bad. Like, yeah, you got embarrassed against Auburn, whatever. Auburn's incredible.
A lot of teams have been embarrassed by Auburn.
Yeah, like whatever on that one.
Well, losing by 13 to Auburn neutral site on the third day of back-to-back. I don't.
When you were playing 6 guys, when you were playing 6, yeah.
I mean, there are teams that have been just obliterated. I don't think losing to Arkansas State is necessarily bad. I think it was the fact that it was by 13. If you came out and you lost that game by a possession, that's probably not. And I mean, that's all to say. Like, they're slowly creeping up. I mean, we could get to Selection Sunday, and that could be a quad 2 loss.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that one's that bad.
They're less than 15 spots from being quad 2. If they keep, and I don't think they're projected to lose a Sun Belt game the rest of the season. If they come out and they're handling people by double digits, there's no question in my mind come March that is a quad 2 loss instead of quad 3.
Yeah, so that's why I was kind of going with that. I mean, I don't think that's going to be a bad loss at the end of the day. Like, yeah, I was at home to a team you probably shouldn't have lost to, but whatever. It's going to be a good team. Mississippi State, I think some would argue maybe not as good. And we shouldn't have lost to them so much, but it's still a good team.
They're
still a good team.
This weekend.
But look at it from here on out: Tulsa, Temple, South Florida, Wichita State, FAU, Rice.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Next week has me a little bit uneasy. With
you talking about because of like the landmines that are all set up, like the South Florida, Wichita
just
State?
because
Rice again.
We talked about this when the schedule came out. I don't remember them doing this before, where it was like conference play. It's home and home, and then away and away, home and home, and then away and away, and home and home, and away and away. At South Florida and at Wichita State next week, it makes me a little bit uneasy, but
that's fair. That's fair, especially because of the damage that could come to your resume by losing to I guess it's kind of further out, by losing to Rice or UTSA. But looking at next week, obviously Temple 143 it looks like, and South Florida is at 187. Obviously not ideal there. I guess that South Florida is a little further out the next week, but Tulsa, 240 you said. So you're just not doing yourself any favors, right? If you lose, right? It's pretty brutal.
South Florida's not a very good team. Like, have you watched them this year?
No, they've been through it.
They're not.
Right?
They've been through it. No,
but
100%.
it's still it's a late. I think it's a 9 p.m. tip down there.
8 p.m.
That's
on the road.
Oh, 9.
I think
9
it's
and
8 for us. It's
9.
9.
9 there.
Yep.
So who knows what kind of crowd that'll be. And then Wichita, I don't think Penny's actually lost in Wichita.
Had their best game. They had their best game of the year last year at Wichita State.
Historically best shooting game ever. So I don't know, but that one I feel like if Wichita is going to show up for a game and the crowd's going to be into it, it'll be that one. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But go 2-0 this week. Keep climbing.
It is still crazy to me. These away games on the road. That was redundant. These away games in the AAC.
These away games that we're not playing at FedEx Forum that are on the road at the other opponent's place.
At the opponent's place, yeah.
When we get on a plane and we travel to them.
After they take the Road Warrior pictures. It is crazy to me how the Tulane game was such a testament to the Super Bowl environment that the Tigers walk into every single. I have watched an obscene amount of Tulane games this year for some reason. I don't know why.
And they haven't had more than 1,000 people at a game.
Bro, they haven't had, like you see like 50 people on camera. Like, it's crazy how bad
it is
crowds
ridiculous.
They had
I get it, but
they piped in the music, they piped in the neon lights, they had those little banners. I think most of those students, they just went and got off of Bourbon Street. Like, most of them weren't Tulane students.
Yeah.
Like, it was.
That's what I'm saying though. It was a good thing it was last week and not this week, because it wasn't even as many people as were there. It still wasn't a sellout last week. But Super Bowl week, you'd have gotten some randos getting up in there that have probably been drunk. They'd been going for the hometown team, and we've been playing in a real ruckus environment.
Yeah. It was a good thing.
But even yesterday at Rice, it was the same. There's no way they've had anywhere close to that many people. Granted, there were a bunch of Memphis fans there too. They showed a good contingency of Memphis fans.
I'm impressed with the way that Memphis basketball fans have traveled this year.
They do.
They travel everywhere. It's impressive.
They show up, man. They sure do.
And that gym, that Rice gym, holy shit.
That was like a Southwest. It kind of reminded me of the Southwest gym.
Like, you could
it was a little bit Maui-esque.
You could see the road outside of the gym. You could see cars driving by outside of the gym. It was so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And they had I hate to even bring this up, but the boys mop broke on that fast break. You remember that play? Dude, to miss stepping on it. That could have been absolutely disastrous.
Could have been what was it?
The head on his freaking towel mop broke off mid fast break, left it there in the middle of the paint.
I mean, what was it? What game was it that
We're not
Caleb
talking-
Mills had
No,
his
it was at Tulsa. They
Dang
didn't ever clean the
got
floor.
mops at Tulsa. They got broken mops at Rice. Like, what the hell, AAC?
It's unbelievable.
Oh, unreal. All right, before we wrap up tonight, fellas, the Reese's Senior Bowl was this weekend, and our boy Seth not only got some PT, he should have been the freaking MVP of the game.
He got it for his squad.
Huh?
He got it for his squad.
I thought what's his face that caught the pass got it.
The TCU receiver.
Yeah.
I thought he got it for the overall game, but I thought Seth got it for, which doesn't make any sense, but Seth got it
The
for
America team, whatever.
the American team or whatever. I thought, maybe not.
Maybe. No, you might be right. Anyway, led a game-winning tutty drive. I think he ended up, 12 of 14 for like just over 100 yards and a touchdown?
Yeah, something like that.
Standard day. Just another day in the office for Seth. Good to see him getting another TDU game-winning drive. Like he never left. Kenny just pulled out a massive bit of earwax out of his ear live on camera.
I was impressed. I was trying not to.
I'm about to go get some amoxicillin for that. I'll drop some off at your house. It'll be bubblegum flavored.
It's all like red and stuff. Not the
TJ, you think Seth gets drafted? I have seen his name creeping up on stuff, and a little bit more chatter going on X and different platforms about Seth Henigan.
It's tough, man. I think top to bottom, you could easily look at this draft as a weak quarterback draft per se. Very top heavy. Cam Ward, Shador. I think Jackson Dart is pretty underrated. I think Will Howard's pretty underrated and where he'll go. But probably famous last words. Jalen Milroe, not that impressive. Kyle McCord, not that impressive to me.
Jalen Mildew.
Yeah, I mean Quinn Ewers is going to be pretty good. I just don't know how these things how these people will translate to the NFL. They're going to have higher expectations on them. I think what we'll probably end up seeing with Seth is him going as an undrafted free agent, signing somewhere, which is perfectly fine. All you need is someone that's going to have faith in you and take a shot on you. What was the stat? He had like a 76 mile per hour fastball. I think he set the record. Let me go back and find this thing.
What? Like throwing the football?
Yeah, so they do like an airspeed test. He threw
like a radar
76. Yeah, 76 miles an hour, basically 77 miles an hour. It was the fastest as anybody there, which is weird to think about because I don't think I've ever seen him.
You're saying anybody in this draft class, not anybody that's ever played in the Reese's Bowl, right?
It was anyone who's at the Reese's Bowl. Sorry, let me reword that. Against anybody at the Reese's Bowl, so he threw it faster than anybody there. I think he could sneak in there. I don't think he'll get drafted just due to the fact that not a ton of quarterbacks end up getting drafted.
Let's start a Seth for Mr. Irrelevant campaign.
Hey, as long as he gets signed by somebody, he gets a chance.
Take him with that last pick. I think he gets a chance. I've kind of always thought from the get-go he'd get a chance, but I just didn't know what your thoughts were. I have seen a little bit of the Seth chatter and hype building, especially after this weekend. He supposedly looked. I mean, some of the Twitter videos that were tweeted out about what a throw were literally from space, so it was nearly impossible to see unless you were physically there, or maybe the receiver that was catching the ball. But he was getting quite a bit of love from the people that were down there this week during the Reese's Bowl practices and stuff. So.
Yeah, he did pick up from some of the random accounts, right? No one like super well established or anything like that. They were saying like Seth could be a big time sleeper in this draft, which incredible. If so, I think you're going to have to see more reps and see more from him for that to be a thing, but completely possible. Maybe in Tiger related news, but not directly related to Seth. Bo Davidson, who was the GM for the Tigers, has left
Mhm.
the University of Memphis for
New
New Mexico. Kind of random, but I guess Spence Nowitzki
Weird.
kind of pulled some strings there.
Maybe.
My guess is they likely probably want to get into the Texas recruiting space. New Mexico is kind of right there. Have a guy with Texas ties. Nowitzki already kind of knows him specifically, so I imagine that's what they're going to do. I don't think they'll have any issue replacing him. I do like the GM role on the roster. Someone's got to take care of the numbers and kind of make some of the madness work. So look for the Tigers to have a staff change. I wouldn't say that.
Ryan told us to apply for that. Was that
Yeah.
last year?
He did.
We'll have to check out
2 years ago,
Indeed.com
I
and
think.
see if it's not this past one, but the previous year. To
Mhm.
see if it's posted on Indeed.
Didn't the football director of recruiting get poached too?
Who you talking about?
I'm looking for his name. Josh Johnson. He's at Texas now.
Yeah, he left. But that, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Oh
That's
no,
not
yeah,
gonna
of
be
course,
cool.
Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Hey,
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Speaking of Tiger news, not directly related to Memphis Tigers, did y'all see what Calvin Austin is going to be extension?
I-
Did y'all see his extension?
We've
I
seen the
saw
hypothetical
that.
number.
Was
I
that
didn't see a full number.
30 mil?
3-year,
Is it
30
a
mil.
Shout
Kinda
out
crazy.
to Calvin. And they're expecting him to take a real big leap next year. Be a
Shout
real
out
big piece of that
Calvin
offense.
Austin.
Wow.
That might be enough to get me bought in on the Steelers.
I might have to become a Steelers fan.
Be part of that steel curtain, baby.
How about we do this next time? I'll have Roman send y'all a video as to why you should be Steeler fans. He's a big Steeler fan.
Is he?
Big.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did not know that about Roman. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, if you are the gambling type, it is not going to hurt you to put $2 on a Calvin Austin touchdown pretty much every game. It'll eventually hit and pay out.
Oh, yeah. I only did it maybe 5 times this season, and it hit 1 out of 5. Of the 5 that I did, it hit. And the one that hit, he had 2 because he had the punt return and the 30-yard bomb catch. I will tell you what does hit, though, and you should probably do it every game because it's going to hit more often than not, is Calvin to have a catch of 20-plus yards.
Yeah, reception over 15 yards or whatever
or over 30,
number is.
because that happens too.
Every time.
Quite frequently. Like if he's getting
Yeah.
a catch, it's probably 20-plus yards. So might want to throw that on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games this year with catches over 30 yards.
Yeah. Easy. So I don't know. We'll see what that number is officially when it happens. But yeah, good news for him.
Big time. Big time. Walk on at Memphis to 3-year, $30 million.
Must be nice.
They do must be nice.
All right.
Look at this Kolsh of personality, Trey.
The jalapeno hint went away, so it was definitely probably left over from that queso that I had.
I didn't think it was
we've already
from the
talked
beer.
about it. The can is whatever,
Yeah.
That's your standard Hampline. We got Natch with a peace necklace, a daisy, and some sunglasses, like he's at some sort of festival.
Mhm.
I don't know. 5.9 on the can.
5.9. Yeah, I think I'm there with you. It's just another can. It's unfortunate too because Hampline is just slinging beer by the can. And it's just consistently more of the same. The color scheme changes. The clothing he's wearing changes. But
yeah,
I'm assuming there's a play on words that you and I just aren't getting. Maybe because we're too young.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Kenny doesn't seem to be picking it up. So I'm not really sure. You say 5.9. I guess the colors are cool. I mean, I don't know. 5.9 seems kind of nice. Yeah, we'll say 5.9. 6. I'll say 6 just to be different. Dare to be different. What about the beer?
It's good. It's real crisp. I'd have it again. I do feel like it's more of a. I mean, it was in the 70s today, so it kind of fit. But it does feel like it's a warmer weather.
Mhm.
Brew would be real good, ice cold on a summer day. I liked it. I will probably get this Kolsh personality again. The Germans know how to do beer. They do it well. Hampline has perfected it. It's feeling good. 7-8 on this one tonight.
7-8. Wow.
Super decent.
It wasn't bad. I will say there is some malt in here, and I think that's expected with the Kolsch in general. Like obviously malt, the beer, kind of 1-1, but it was more so of the. It wasn't that I'm having to like clear my
Scrape your
mouth
tongue
type of.
off.
Yeah, it wasn't that kind of malt, right? It was like a sweeter malt, I guess is probably the way to word that. Wasn't bad.
It's those hints of strawberry.
Yeah. I think this would definitely be better on draft than it would in a can, but I think that's the general consensus, right? I'm not gonna say 7-8. That seems high for me. I will say definitely like a 7-1, 7-2. I would drink 2 of them if the conditions were right.
Yeah, that seems fair.
But overall, pretty good beer. Pretty good beer.
Definitely situational tour.
Mhm.
All right. Makes sense. What are you
Penny-
giggling about?
Penny is so funny, dude.
What
He's
happened?
at his radio.
I meant to bring that up earlier.
Dude,
Are
his
you
comment
laughing about
Ron-
playing down with Ron Howard? I mean, not Ron Howard, Ron Hunter.
Yes.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Ron Howard.
TJ, you probably didn't see it, but he was talking about how difficult it is to play down in New Orleans, especially when it's 6-on-5 because you got the 5 Tulane players plus Ron Hunter on the court playing defense. Which I will say,
Yes.
looking back at it now, it is funny and I can laugh about it. But in the moment, I was so mad that
I
there
was livid.
nothing.
I was livid.
He was legitimately like 3 feet on the floor, like in the play.
Behind
It's
our
different.
guy. Guarding
It's
our guy.
different when the ball's either on the other side of the court or literally just even on the other side, like you're in, but the other wing or something, and the play's not there. We were literally dribbling right there
In front of him.
He is in a defensive stance, shuffling his feet with his arms out. Like
Penny called it.
There's no way that should be allowed.
Penny called it his body gyrations. He said coaching.
It did look like he was standing on one of those things that shakes your hips. Gyrator.
That ain't the first time though. I feel like the North Texas game. I want to say it was. I think Hodge was on the court like a vast majority of the game.
Yeah, he was out there a lot. But and that's what I'm saying. I know that it happens, but a lot of times it happens when the play isn't right there, so it's not that big of a deal. What made it so unbelievable the other night at Tulane was the fact that we were legitimate. Like Tyrese was dribbling the ball right there
in front of him, like right there.
Yeah, he was in the play. That's what made it absurd. But yeah,
we didn't get into this.
I saw Penny's quote earlier.
I know we don't want to, we're not trying to rehash this whole thing, but we didn't get into the whole like shit talking Tulane did prior. The 2 quotes that Ron Hunter had, the fact that they sent an email to the sports information office at Memphis basketball
about their
office
court storming procedures.
About their court storming procedures.
I will say, I mean, we knew about those quotes because we'd seen them already. The only thing I'm going to say about it is, holy crap. Was it necessary to show the quotes 15 times during the game?
That's ridiculous, dude.
I get that some people tune into a game at a different point and maybe not have been there, but legitimately, like, let's maybe do it once in the first half and once in the second half, not 4 times before halftime. Like, it was unbelievable how many times those quotes were on the screen.
I mean, I love a good chirp. Like, what fan base was it? Was it Charlotte's fan base that said something to PJ Haggerty like you suck at gaming or something, or you suck at Fortnite?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's great. Like that is great chirping. The sending the email about court storming procedures to the basketball office is great. It's next level stuff. Like I think that's fantastic. I know Memphis used it. I would love to see Memphis get involved in stuff like that. Like that stuff is so much fun to me.
Yeah. No, I was like, damn, that is good. When they were talking about the email about it, I was like,
They were down by almost double digits in the game, and they
Yeah.
brought the rope out like with
Yeah.
like 6 minutes left.
Just in case, dude. You never know.
In case.
it's mental games, baby.
Oh, I love it so much.
Even though they'd lost 54 of their last 55 or whatever it is against ranked teams, you got to always be prepared.
Man, I love it.
You
Congrats
never know,
to-
man.
I really do. Like I love Rod Hunter as a coach. He annoyed the piss out of me in that game. Like that.
He's funny. He is funny. All right, fellas. Here's to going 2-0 again. Hey, real quick, let's do a Super Bowl pick. Who y'all got?
Who do we want to win, or who do we think will win?
Give me both if I guess they're different.
I'm gonna go first because I'm gonna break the ice. I think the Eagles are gonna win. I don't know how. I mean, Saquon is so damn good.
He is.
And
is.
And if Jalen just plays well, they're so hard to beat.
I want the Eagles to win because that's like University of Memphis NFL team, right? You have Huff, Elliott, Kenny.
Yeah.
You got 3 Tigers on that roster.
Memphis North.
I want to say I don't dislike the Chiefs. It's just kind of like I'm tired of it, man. Real tired of it.
You have Chiefs fatigue.
I do have Chiefs fatigue. And I
Maybe
mean,
a
like,
little-
here's the
I
worst
don't
part.
know. It is like you got to take it from the approach like you're literally witnessing something that may never ever happen again. Like,
It's
isn't that
true.
cool?
It's true.
Look,
But I get it.
want them to. I want them to be in the game because then my wife's like, you know what? Let's watch football.
Yeah.
She thinks she's going to see Taylor Swift, and that's fine. Whatever agenda she needs to have, as long as we have the football on the TV, it's fine. It's a win for me.
Fair. That's
So,
fair.
They
I'm
can
going
make it,
with
they
Kenny.
can't win.
I think the Eagles win, and for one reason and one reason only. DraftKings put this out. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but let me see if I can find it because I'm going to get the year right. Since a specific year, when the Super Bowl is being held in a city in between the location of the two teams. Did y'all see this?
No, Jesus Christ.
Okay, hold on. I got to find it.
already, I don't trust it because it's from DraftKings, a team that wants you to invest your money.
Well, it
into
wasn't.
their
I don't think
site so
they
can
actually.
milk you. Yeah, right.
I don't think it was. Gosh, I'm not gonna find it. I wish there was an easier way to.
It feels like a bit of a setup, is all. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway, whatever it was, it's happened like 10 times, maybe in the last 25 or 30 years, where the Super Bowl hosting city is in between the two cities that are playing, and I think it's 10 times. The team that is traveling west is 10-0 versus the team traveling east. And you know who's traveling west to New Orleans?
Philadelphia.
So
It's just such a random.
I'm just telling you, statistically,
I get
how it
it.
goes.
I get it.
but I get your concern with going against Patrick Mahomes. I understand it. Because
Going
the
against
script
the
has
rest
it.
who want him to win. Yeah.
The script has it for them to win, for Travis Kelce to retire and propose on the field afterwards.
100%. It's the same script.
Yes.
It's the same script that won Cowboy Carter a Grammy last night.
Yeah. Same one.
Did
Did y'all see
on that?
Kanye's wife?
You sure did.
Bro.
How is that legal?
I was like, I had to like clarify it. Tracy didn't do anything for me. I didn't see this and go crazy, but I showed it to her and she was like, how is that? How does she get involved? she's like, how do you walk the red carpet and not get like public
I don't-
indecency?
I mean, I know
charges?
she showed up in the black fur coat, so that's initially, but
Yeah.
then the moment she took it off, like how was it? I don't know. Anyway, tune in next week because that's how TJ will be dressed. Bring a cold beer, save without takes. We'll be back. Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Like and subscribe at Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports.